Hello, everyone. Today is the 23rd of November, 2018. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Anthony.
And we are
The Rivals.
So, it's been a long time.
Been a while.
I mean, you got a real life and a real job now.
I'm an adult.
So, I'm not. So, I still have time to do this, but I don't because I want to do it with you, but you're busy.
I know. Well, let's hope we can start this up again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Get back into the groove of things.
Yeah, because I have a lot. It's been a weird season.
It's been a silly season.
Yeah, it has been. But first, before we talk about Premier League, we just finished two kind of back-to-back international breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't really back-to-back, but they felt like they were back-to-back.
Right.
So we'll do a little State of the Union.
Dun dun dun.
Right. I'm going to start because I don't have a lot to say. Just because I told you this a while ago, I'm not passionate about the Mexican team right now. We had a mediocre World Cup, and then we lost our manager, who has been the best manager we've ever had, because the Mexican media and the Mexican fans are dumb, and they ran him out of town.
Right.
Because they're ignorant. I hate them. But whatever, he moved on, whatever. We're in a state of flux. We don't have a coach yet.
I was gonna say.
Okay. So apparently
there's more than rumors.
The MLS commissioner accidentally confirmed.
He did.
That Atlanta United current manager Tata Martino is gonna coach the Mexican national team. It's not confirmed. He has not put pen to paper. Mexican Federation won't confirm or deny.
He is still in the playoffs with his team.
Right.
He's in the Eastern Conference Finals against New York Red Bulls this coming Sunday. Watch the game. Learn what your new coach plays like.
I might.
Coaches like.
I actually.
It actually will be a phenomenal game. They're the top two highest point total teams ever in MLS.
Really?
So New York Red Bulls broke the points record set last year by Toronto with 71 points, and Atlanta were right there at 69 or 68, right there.
That's crazy.
They came down to the last game of the season. Red Bull won. Atlanta didn't. Red Bull took the Supporter Shield home.
Oh, interesting. It looks like you follow.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So I didn't know that was happening Sunday, so I might actually do that.
You should tune in.
We had 2 games against Argentina, which we lost soundly both times. 2-0, I think, both times we lost.
Okay. Now, are you calling in your A squads currently, or are you still calling in?
So we had interim coach Tuca Ferretti, who is Brazilian, but he's Mexican now. Like he was born in Brazil, but he moved to Mexico. He's a Mexican citizen, and he's been this guy that in between periods he coaches the team. Like, I don't know. He's like the interim manager.
He's the constant interim manager?
Yeah. So it's been good. He's decent. I like him. But he won't leave Tigres. He's got a 10-year contract. I think he's got 2 or 3 years left in the contract. And he just said he loves the team.
He's the head coach of Tigres.
Yeah.
And the head coach of the Mexican national team.
Yeah, interim head coach, yeah.
This is FIFA?
Yes. If players can do it, coaches can do it too. I don't know. He's obviously been very good in the league. He's made to the finals a few times. They have a really good team.
I want to say they have a lot of money to spend as well, too.
They also have a lot of money. So anyway, I like him as a manager. And I would like him to coach long term, but that's not his.
Over Tata Martino. Tata Martino, the former Barcelona, Argentina, Paraguay national team coach.
I don't know what he's like. I'm not saying I don't want him. I do want him. I'm very excited.
Took Atlanta in 2 years. They've been a team for 2 years in existence to one of the best teams in the league.
Yes.
Most exciting teams to watch.
Yes. That's all true. And the fact that all the U.S. fans are upset about this.
Super upset. I'm very salty.
Makes me happy. Not because you're upset, but he's a good manager if it makes you guys this upset. But I don't know him. I know Tuca. He's coached Mexico before. He's coached Tigres. He's very successful as well. So when I had it in my head, like, oh, who's going to coach us next? I was hoping it was him. I'm very excited about this news if it turns out to be true. Which is like, let's call it 98%.
I'm going to go 99.
Okay. So there's still that tiny bit of disappointment that could be there. But anyway.
All the disappointment is in our corner, my friend.
Well, we'll get to that in a sec. He played what his plan was like, all right, I have no, unlike in your situation where you've had an interim manager for over a year now. Is
that a good thing? Are you saying this is a good thing?
No. I'm not saying that. But unlike that, he knows that he was only in charge for 4 games. And what he was doing was kind of showcasing some of the younger players to whomever is going to come next. He picked a lot of young guys for all the games. But he sprinkled in some older guys as well. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a mixed bag, like a lot of inexperience, especially in the defense. Like our defense is abysmal. And I think that's a good word for it. We have no direction. I don't know who's going to be the future.
You don't have the players, or you don't have the direction?
We don't have either.
Okay.
Like our defenders right now are just we've lost the better defenders that we've had over the last few years. They're old.
And Rafa Marquez can't still play.
I'm pretty sure he no longer has the capability. I'm sure he could play center back. But Hector Moreno is just old, and he's always hurt, and he was our best defender for a long time, and I just don't see that going very well. So as far as the defense goes, it's not good. But the rest of the team, we also don't have a striker because Hernandez just isn't. I don't know. He got caught. I think he rejected the call up. This most recent call up. Whatever. I mean,
he's not playing, right?
He's not playing. He's watching West Ham flounder because they won't play him. Mm-hmm. When he got signed by West Ham at the beginning of last season, he was their top goal scorer for the first 12 games of the season. Right. And then he got hurt. They benched him, and then they dipped. They almost got relegated. And, one of their best strikers is
sitting on the bench.
So, that's the thing. Raul Jimenez is playing for Wolves, and he's doing well for them.
He is.
They're
a good team, too. They're fun to watch.
They're fun to watch. He's got a few goals under his belt, and he's got a ton of assists. So they mesh really well. It's a very good team. But he just doesn't do it for the national team. Like, he's never been that guy like Hernandez was. Like, he's not going to score, 50 goals like he did. He's just not. And then he's also up there in age. Not really. He's like upper 20s.
So what is the reason why you're so down on the team right now? Is it just because we're in just a period of friendlies where there's no games until the Gold Cup? Like, what is it?
I'm down because, number one, we have a couple of players who are playing in Europe that are doing really well, and then a bunch of guys that don't want to leave the Mexican League. The Mexican League, additionally, has the international players rule where you can put a lot of international players on your team. So you have Argentinians and Brazilians.
MLS is having the same issue recently, yeah.
So unless you're playing for Chivas, which is only Mexicans, you're not getting a lot of play time. So the top scorer in Mexico right now, I think he's from Paraguay. The second top scorer is from Mexico, but he's a midfielder. He's got a ton of goals.
Yeah.
But he's not a striker. We don't have a striker. The other thing that gets me down, and I guess you can touch on this later, is that I look at your youth, like under 22 guys, not the U20s, like the actual team, but like just your players that are between the ages of 8.
The pool of players. And
you guys have like a ton of players in Germany doing really well, and we don't have that.
So that's what I was actually going to ask you, because and I'll wait for my segment, but that's the only thing keeping me afloat right now. And barely. I'm drowning 90% of the time. The only thing keeping me afloat is that I have 17, 18-year-olds all around the world right now. We can go to the Dutch league, We can go to the Bundesliga. We can go, many places, and I can find players who I think will break through.
Yeah. We don't have that. We have a couple of guys. Portugal has been great to the Mexican team, like Mexican players, and the Dutch league has been great. And we had players in Germany. We have a couple of players in Spain that are playing. We had some players in Germany, but Marco Fabian, he's been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't played in a long time. So, other than Chucky, there's really nothing that's like...
Our Lord and Savior, Chucky.
Yeah, right. There's nothing that excites me right now. Number one. Number two, I think the league is hurting the national team. Number three, the players aren't leaving. Like, I would rather see players at like Porto or Benfica or PSV playing Champions League, but in a second-tier league, rather than sitting on the bench at West Ham.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want players in the Premier League, even though it's like, oh, he's playing the Premier League,
Right.
he's going to sit on the bench. I would rather him have stayed in Germany and Leverkusen, where he was scoring goals and the people loved him. That's why I want Chucky to go. If he's going to move up, I want him to go to Germany. I think it would be a good league for him.
I think Germany's a good league for everybody, and I've been an advocate of it on this show for a while. You can go back and listen to our old episodes, which you should because they're good episodes, and you'll hear me talk about how I like the Bundesliga.
Right. And I agree with you. I think it's a very competitive league, and they're very youth-friendly.
Yep.
And then I forgot what number I'm on. I see your kids coming up, and I don't see that we have a couple of guys like Diego Lainez. He's like
who was shut down yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean he's going to be good. He's 18, so he's going to be good. I mean, it's a matter of time, and I think it's one of those situations where you got to be very careful not to go too early to Europe.
Yeah,
but you've got to go. He has to go to Europe
at 18. Yeah, where's he now?
I want to say he's in America.
No.
I think he might be.
I don't think so. I know we have Efrain Alvarez, who's at the Galaxy, and he's like one of the... He's a duel, and we want him so badly, and we're not going to get him.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me, though, that for the first time we could say we have the youth products coming through. And...
Yeah, he plays for America.
Yeah.
Diego Lainez plays for America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other guy that's doing really well, he moved to PSV to play with Chucky, is Gutierrez.
Yeah.
And he's been scoring a lot of goals for PSV as well.
Their first team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been playing. I remember in his debut, he set up Chucky for a goal, and then he scored his own goal. So it was like a magical little
Mexican connection.
Yeah. They play on the opposite wings, so it's kind of fun to watch. I love watching. Every time I can
catch a PSV game.
Yeah.
Well, if you have ESPN Plus now, you can.
I don't have ESPN Plus.
I mean, I don't know why you don't. It's $4.99 a month, and you get 6 different leagues. You get MLS, USL, the Denmark League, the Dutch League. You get just so many. You get Serie A.
Do you really?
Yeah.
On ESPN Plus?
Yeah.
We are not sponsored by ESPN.
But please sponsor us if you'd like.
Right. We'll take your money. Mm-hmm. So those are the reasons why I'm not excited. Maybe once we have a coach and we kind of get a direction, because I don't know what they're going to do. What kind of system is he going to use? So I don't know. I'm just not excited.
Well,
and after that World Cup, it's just hard to be excited right now.
I don't think you guys had a bad...
No, I said mediocre. That's average.
We've talked about it. I think
5 out of 10.
I think it wasn't as great as we initially thought of the World Cup, because the Germany win everybody was very hype about. And then we went on to see that Germany really wasn't a good team at the World Cup. But I don't think it was a bad World Cup.
No, I didn't say it was bad. I said it was mediocre.
Yeah, but I feel like when you say mediocre, you mean bad.
No, medium. Like, I literally mean mediocre, right down the middle. 5 out of 10.
Okay.
There were highs and there were lows, so it averages out.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So,
at least you were there.
Yeah. But, speaking of, now I'll turn it over to you, and you can tell me how you feel.
How long do we have?
I mean, just go.
So, I'll start off with two things right off the bat. One, I love the player kids movement, and I'm all about playing 17, 18-year-olds and watching them play. Two, I am at the lowest point, I think, equal to the day we missed out on the World Cup.
Right now?
The loss of Trinidad. Right now I am. I am so fed up. It's hard for me to watch the games. It's hard for me to open my Twitter and see the news because it's just one... I don't want to curse here, so I'm not going to curse. It is one mess up after another. It's one missed opportunity after another. It's just, it's leaderless. It's not enjoyable. It's not exciting. We're treading water. We're in purgatory right now. We're doing nothing.
Right.
There's just nothing. We just spent an entire year and nothing was accomplished. We have an interim coach who hasn't coached in like 10 years. He was Bruce Arena's head coach for 10 years. Hasn't had a real coaching job. Not a good tactician. He played a lot of the kids. And at first I thought, okay, giving the kids a couple games is good for them, right? Give them their debut, big. Give them a couple more games to get settled in. But then after 4, 5, 6, 7, international break comes after international break, and it's the same thing. And it's like, okay, well, they don't just need the experience anymore. They need more.
Right.
Playing Colombia, playing Brazil, playing Italy, playing England, playing Mexico. These are our games that we played. We played good team after good team after good team. And it's okay to play the good teams, and it's good because that's the only way you get better. But if there's no one in place to make sure that what we're doing is having our kids... I don't care about the scores. When we play England and it's 3-0, I don't care. I'm looking to see, did they fight? Was there a game plan? Which players are up to the task, have that first touch to be able to touch the ball, move it in the next direction. And that's what I'm looking for. And it's just with an interim coach who has never really coached before, it's just there's no foundation
right.
that we're playing off of. We're just playing big games just to play them at this point. And at some point you're breeding a system of it's okay if we lose 3-0 to England. It's okay if Brazil just works us off the field. This is what it is, and it's frustrating, and it's just very, very frustrating. That doesn't even go to the off the field stuff of the search for a coach.
Right.
We had the time from when we missed the World Cup to all the way until after the World Cup where everybody else was playing games. They all had to stick to what they were doing to where we could have been searching for a coach. Then the World Cup ends, and you think, okay, well, now other coaches are going to be let go. There's going to be plenty of coaches for us to pick up.
Right.
Still don't pick up a coach. Then we keep going, and we keep going, and keep going. And it's 13, 14 months now without a coach. 14 months.
That's a long time.
Without a coach.
Without direction.
Without any direction.
Yeah.
No game plan, nothing. Mexico went to a World Cup, fired a coach, and is going to hire who should have been our number one candidate before we even have an interview.
Right.
Let me go through a list of coaches who were not interviewed for the job. Jesse March, my favorite coach, assistant of Red Bull Leipzig right now.
Okay.
Left New York Red Bull, went to Leipzig to be the assistant coach. I think he'll be the U.S. coach one day. Not interviewed. Peter Vermees, Sporting Kansas City coach, been there for like 10 years, amazing coach, not interviewed. These are all people confirming that they haven't been interviewed. Tata Martino, I think who should have been offered the job, and we should have given him whatever he wanted. Great coach. He came to MLS. He was in our system. Everybody knows MLS and U.S. soccer works. Not interviewed. Greg Berhalter.
I thought he was the one.
He is the one we've been hearing, and I'm doing air quotes right now, so everybody can... I realize this is a podcast and you can't see me. There is no indication that he was actually interviewed. We just hear in every article, he's the one, he's the one, he's the one. But we've never heard of an interview. We've never heard of anything. And then reports come out and say, well, he was actually interviewed for the Galaxy job, and he was offered that one. So
Right.
after a year of this telling us that, we haven't interviewed anybody, Oscar Pereira, the FC Dallas coach, the one who 2 years ago I would have said should have been the head coach. FC Dallas Academy is the best in probably the U.S., bar none. Great coach. He's won supporter shields. He's taken a team with a very low budget and made them very good. Not offered the job. Now he's going to Mexico, the Mexican League, and he just left FC Dallas. and he's going to go coach at Cholos, maybe? That's how you say it?
Yeah,
That's the correct pronunciation.
I believe so.
Yeah. He just left FC Dallas, and it's not confirmed, but all the reports are saying he's going to go there. So now Tata Martino is going to go to the Mexican national team. One of our best candidates is going to go to the Mexican League.
You know who, I was really scared when we lost Osorio that he was going to go to UA. That was like
That's
my
what they
biggest
said we
fear.
wanted to hire.
That was my biggest fear.
A
But he
lot
went
of people
to Paraguay
wanted him.
instead.
He went to
thankfully.
Paraguay.
Good.
We didn't interview him.
Like, that would have been the most crushing thing that could have happened. Our best ever manager leaving to you guys, that would have been the worst.
But that's how I feel right now with Tata Martino going to you guys.
Right. Except he didn't actually coach the U.S. team.
No, but he's coached U.S. players. He's been in our league. I mean, everything was set up for him to make the jump to the national team, right? You come to the U.S. for 2 years. You learn the language. You learn the system. You learn the players. Then when there's an opening, you give it to him. It was a stepping stone that I thought would have worked perfectly.
Right.
But I mean, we could just go down. Tab Ramos, the U20 coach, who's taken the team to back-to-back U20 championships, CONCACAF championships, quarterfinals in the World Cup, not offered the job.
That's a weird one too.
Who have they offered the job to? I don't think they've done anything, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think they're just buying time. I think they don't know what they want to do.
Well, there's not a lot of time left.
There's not. We're now, almost 6 months out from the Gold Cup? I'd like to win the Gold Cup. I'd like to have a team who's prepared to take on the Gold Cup. I mean, after 13 months of not having a coach, it just gets to the point where, okay, we've given so many young players their debuts, and
Right.
I get that. But there's no plan. There's no step-by-step of, okay, we give them this, but then we want them to do a little bit better. We want them to do a little bit better. We want them to do this. Like, we're resetting, and we don't even have a coach to reset with because we haven't even talked to anybody.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, and every day it comes out. No one, literally, people who say they want the job, who would One thing about interviewing high-level positions in any company, and I deal with this every day in what I do now because I'm constantly on the phone with people who are having issues with their employers, or I've talked to their employers. This is what I do in my everyday life. Just interviewing somebody gets you to hear their ideas
Right.
of how they can help your company or your program or what you're selling or what you're trying to do. They come in and they say, "This is what I can do. This is high-level position stuff." You're the cashier at the register isn't going to tell
Right.
you how they're going to help your company. But when you get into hiring a VP, directors, they come in and they say, "Listen, I see your problems here. This is what I want to do to fix them." So when you interview coaches, they're going to come in and say, "This is what I can do to help," or "This is what I see your problems are. This is my plan." And even if you don't hire them, you get ideas flowing. There's nothing right now.
Yeah.
None of the best minds in the U.S. have been contacted to coach. None of the best minds outside who would have been. A report came out that the former Real Madrid coach,
Lopetegui?
I can't say it.
Yeah,
I was
nobody
gonna try.
can. He can't even say it.
He reached out to the U.S. Federation.
Did he really?
He did. Grant Wall broke the story that he reached out, and they said, "No, we're too far along in the process." That's what they said.
Maybe.
What process?
Maybe.
No one's
They're
been
keeping it
contacted.
secret. Maybe it's a huge secret, and you don't. Maybe
Unless Arsene Wenger is announced as the new coach.
I was going to say Jose Mourinho.
I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, as Taylor Twellman said, what are we doing? Because there's no plan, and especially for somebody like me who, listen, I stay up late watching games. Wake up early to watch maybe that Weston McKennie's going to get on the field for Schalke. I watch highlights of our U18 player who's playing in the Netherlands to see what he did in a friendly. I mean, so much time do I put into this that I feel like they're not. Our federation themselves are not putting in the time. I mean,
maybe after the failure to qualify, there was such a turmoil in the federation itself that they're still like rebuilding the board. I don't know if there's a board.
There is a board. The president. Well, so our COO just resigned actually his position after a while, and it's been coming for a while. But the person we hired as our president was the vice president. It's not like they came in and got somebody from outside. I mean, we hired a GM for the first time ever. So now there's somebody who's literally there to only make soccer decisions.
Yeah. Is it Klinsmann?
No, it's not. It is not. It's not Klinsmann. It's just I'm at the point where when I scroll through Twitter, when I go on my Reddit pages, when I'm looking for news, when I'm watching the team, it's just so frustrating to see no plan. There's nothing. And you would think after such a horrific thing to happen as not making the World Cup that a light bulb would activate, or when you fail at something, you try it 3 times harder to not fail again, right?
Yeah.
That's just natural instinct. Is when you fail, how can I improve? What am I going to do? How am I going to go moving forward?
Do you think they're being too careful?
I think
maybe they're scared to make the wrong choice, so they're. I'm just making
no.
excuses.
I understand. I don't think there is any rhyme or reason to anything they're doing. I really don't. I think there's not a plan. I think there's just not people saying this is what we're going to do A, B, and C and how. I think they're shooting from the hip right now and just guessing.
Yeah.
If you want me to be a conspiracy theorist, I want to say honestly, Greg Berhalter was the only pick they had, and now he's reconsidering if he even wants to take the job because he got offered the Galaxy job. And I think now they're scrambling. I think that's realistically what's happening.
If you go into the new year without a coach, that puts
They gave themselves a deadline of November 1st. They said, you'll know by November 1st. November 1st came around, and Greg Berhalter was still in the playoffs with Columbus. So clearly you can't take him out of the playoffs.
Right.
But they had, if they knew it was him from the beginning, then they could have just hired him right after the failure. When MLS season ended last December, they could have hired him then. We could have had him the entire year.
Yeah.
They gave him the entire year. Then November 1st came around. They said, we will have a coach by November 1st. Came around, nothing. And then no one ever said anything. They're just like, we didn't hire anybody.
Maybe everyone will forget we said that.
Exactly. And then he's in the playoffs. And then he was out of the playoffs. And by the time when he was out of the playoffs was when the international break was about to happen. So we had already named a roster and everything, so they can't name him. But now it's over. And they still haven't named him. And then reports came out 2 days ago that the Galaxy offered him the job. And this goes to what you were saying, that you think the league might be hurting the national team. I mean, if the Galaxy are the ones directly competing with the U.S. men's national team coaching search, think about that. That's some real food for thought, and that's another conversation maybe for a later episode. That if domestic leagues should be there to support and build a national team.
That would be a good conversation.
That's a good conversation to have. It's frustrating. The only thing keeping me afloat, like I said earlier, is that we do have young players. So, German team, right now I want to call it the Great Migration, but really it's like stealing. Like the German Bundesliga, all of their scouts are basically coming to America and stealing players right out of the MLS academies.
Yeah.
Just taking them right out of the academies, pulling them over, and it's just happening left and right now. So we just have so many players over there now to look at that it's good. And the U20s won the CONCACAF Championship over Mexico Wednesday night. Our youth is fine, but it's sad that our youth is doing so good, and eventually they're going to get promoted to the senior team, and there's going to be nothing for them.
Right.
It's just a train wreck that they're getting on. And it's frustrating because finally we have youth players who I think can compete around the world now because, the MLS academies are been operating for 10 years now. So now they're starting to have their first batch of players. It's frustrating.
Well,
that was my rant.
That's why I gave you the most time, because I figured you'd have a lot more ranting to do. Because I'm kind of just
yeah.
Like I didn't watch any of the friendlies.
Yeah.
Like not one.
See, and that's my problem is I have been watching them, and it's almost like it's me just hurting myself.
Right.
Like, it's self-inflicted wounds at this point because I'm watching them knowing that they're not set up to compete against Italy.
Yeah.
Because they have a coach who's never coached since 1996. Like,
Yeah, I'm the opposite. Like, I actually thought about watching one of the games, and I actually was like, you know what? I am going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. And then I completely forgot because that's how important it is to me. I just absolutely completely forgot that we played.
so I had it pulled up on my desk while I was working.
Yeah, because we played Argentina.
You said twice.
Yeah, we played them.
You played them in two different windows? Or in the same window?
Same window. Yeah,
you
same
played
window
them twice
twice.
in the same
Yeah.
window? That's odd.
It's what they wanted. It's got. See, here's another thing. Like, whenever we play, there's this idea of like, oh, Mexico just wants to make money. The national team just wants to make money.
Yeah.
So we play like garbage teams, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
And they play them in the U.S. because they know people are going to buy tickets,
Yeah.
and they play garbage teams. So we'll win, and everyone's happy, and they'll do the wave and stuff like that.
I
But
hate the wave of games.
yeah, same.
I hate it.
Yeah, you're here to watch the game.
Yes. That's what I say.
Yeah, I know. But
You've been to games with me.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, yay, we do. We like half. Butt
We half wave and then like
half wave.
sit right back
Yeah.
down and tell everybody shut up and
Yeah.
pay attention.
So finally, we like, you know what? Let's play Argentina. It doesn't get tougher than that in Argentina. Let's go over there. And I mean, I think it was 2-0 both times. So, but it's better than
Yeah.
beating like some nobody team
Yeah.
in Los Angeles in the Coliseum in front of 100,000 Mexicans.
So let's compare and contrast. Let's see who's in a worse situation. You say you don't have the players right now, but you're about to get a world-class coach. We, I think, have players who can be really good one day. I mean, the team we started against Italy was an average age of 21 years old.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Some of the players aren't even into their first team squads yet. So I get it. If we lose, we lose. I don't care. But if there's a plan, there's a plan.
Right.
What would you rather take right now? If you had the option, would you take young up-and-coming players, leaderless, or would you take a good coach and hopefully your players will develop?
That's a really tough question.
I'm curious.
Honestly, at this point right now, if you're asking me right now, I would rather have youth that could potentially be something. And I mean, I guess I'm trying. I can't take it out of context. It's not just a question, but with the context involved, especially your situation, I think you're in a much better place because you have nowhere to go but up.
You say that.
How could you?
Because what if January comes around and we still have an interim coach?
You'd still have 3 years before the next World Cup.
Yes, but and I get at the end of the day, national teams, the only goal and the main goal needs to be the World Cup.
Yeah.
100%.
Unless
But I mean, I think me and you disagree on this, but I think the Gold Cup is important.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Confederations Cup, if it still exists, is important. I'm not sure if they're still going to do it this year or this to come around. I mean, I think, and then we have the Nations League, which I don't understand how it works, but it's
right.
a thing now that's going to start in September of 2019. Both of our teams are in the top
league, the top division.
Top division in the Nations League. So I mean, these are all important things, and I think you're right. I think right now having youth is at least keeping me excited about the team because without a coach, without players, there's nothing to watch, right? The coach brings it all together and makes it all. But right now, at least I can watch Tyler Adams and get excited when he does something good.
Yeah.
If there's nothing interesting on the field for you, then
It's not that the players don't excite me. I think it's more like just. Look, let me put it like this. I don't know.
hit me with it.
It's hard to. I don't know how to describe it because I just don't care. That's the thing. It's not that I'm down on the team
But
like
what
you
would
are.
make you care?
I think it would make me care if we had more youth prospects that are coming up, because
It is the players.
No, because like some of the players are still good. Like I recently read that Hector Herrera, who plays for Porto right now, and he's killing it in Porto. I forgot who's. I think Roma, Inter, and AC Milan are all.
Really?
Yeah.
And Serie A is on the up and up right now,
Yeah.
so it's a good place to go.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, we still have really good players. It's just that once these guys are done, it's not that I'm not excited about the current crop of players. My worry is when they are done and their time is coming, like our golden generation is over.
Yeah.
So those kids that won the under 17s, twice in 3 World Cups,
Yeah.
and the under what was it, the 19s or 20s that we made to the final against, I think it was Brazil, and we lost the final. The players who won the Olympic gold, those guys, like, this is the best team we've ever had, and they're all 30 plus. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
The players that we have now, like the core that they're like between 23 and 27, they're still good, but in 4 years they're going to be on their way out, and we have nothing coming up behind them. So the team right now is good. It's a good team right now. We just don't have a coach. It's a good team right now. It's got good youth and veteran components. But once they're done, once your kids are in their prime, we'll have nobody.
Yeah, but our kids are in their prime. Not next World Cup, 2 World Cups from now. They're 18.
Yeah.
So 4 years, they're 22. 4 years, they're, then they're in their prime.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 2 World Cups.
Yeah, but that's you have a future. That's what I'm saying. Like, in 2 World Cups, I can't even tell you who's.
Yeah.
Maybe Lainez, if he develops properly, will be doing something. There are a couple others, but it's just not exciting. That's my thing. So I would rather have some knowledge that, and the other thing is, even if the team sucks, like the national team sucks, they're individually doing well in Europe. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So at least you have that to work on or to build upon, and we don't have that, and that's why I'm not excited. I think that's probably why. I don't know. Maybe mystery coach comes in and like kills it. And
I don't know why you have to say mystery. We know what it is. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
And maybe I get excited about the team again, but like, even though I plan to watch the Argentina games, both of them, I actually completely forgot because I was playing video games instead. That's how much I care right now. Like, I have zero interest in the national team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. But
maybe the Nations League, when it comes around, will make us care more when it comes to friendlies.
I think so. I think maybe that will make me care a little more. I think
that's the goal of it at the end of the day. I mean,
to make them mean something.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a podcast about the Nations League, and both of us will do our research and figure out what it really is.
Yeah, because there are too many international breaks. This is a nice segue. And it ruins our momentum in the Premier League.
Speaking of the Premier League.
Oh, what? Let's talk about that. But no, like, one last quick thing. So the international breaks, they're too many, and they come too often, and they break up the flow of the leagues. And I just, especially if they don't mean anything, why?
Yeah.
But now that in Europe they mean something, I don't know if it's better or worse, because now our players are playing even more meaningful games. And they're not going to rest Harry Kane, for example,
for the Nations League.
Not had a break since like 4 seasons ago. Literally no break. He's played all the time, every summer. Like, it was either the Euros or
the World Cup,
and like, he's got no break.
I mean, the good thing is, though, he doesn't really go far in club competitions, so. That's always.
I mean, we've made the semis and finals of the league and FA Cup over the last 3 years. We make them far. We've gone far.
Speaking of that,
let's talk about a minuscule, insignificant game that's coming up tomorrow.
What's the game tomorrow? Okay, give us.
I believe it's Watford against Liverpool.
I believe the pride of London
is playing Chelsea?
Is playing Tottenham.
Wait, Tottenham can't play itself. So, second segment. What I want you to tell me is, I don't know if you've been watching a lot of Chelsea, because I know you watch a lot more Bundesliga than you do Premier League these days.
That's not true.
No?
No.
Okay.
So what my weekend looks like is I turn on my streaming service, whatever one it'll be, and I figure out which U.S. players will be playing in what games, and then I coordinate around the Chelsea game.
Okay, fair.
Now, it has been tough with the NBC Gold because I don't pay for NBC Gold.
Right.
And so if they're not on one of the normal networks that I can stream, then I can't watch them.
I have NBC Gold. I'll give you my log. Am I allowed to say this? You can use my login and password.
I don't think NBC is listening to us. We're not there yet.
Okay, good. All right. So
we are a family, though.
Yeah.
We're one household.
You're right.
Family,
You're right.
So.
We are one household, so we can share. So
what time is the game?
Our game is at 12:30.
Okay.
So what I wanted was, let's do your MVP so far.
Okay.
And your favorite moment of the season.
Okay.
And then how you think you're gonna finish.
Okay.
Go.
So we're gonna finish top 4. I'm gonna start backwards to frontwards.
Okay.
We're gonna finish top 4. I'm not sure where in that 4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish top 4, which I'm fine with. Let's get us back into Champions League first year. Work our way from there. Second question. My favorite point in the season was either this morning or yesterday when N'Golo Kante got a new 5-year deal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Worth like $240,000 weekly or something.
Yeah.
The man is a saint. I love him. If I could take him home for Christmas, I would.
Is he shorter than you?
I think we're about the same height.
Okay.
Which would make him the same height as you, since we're the same height.
That's debatable.
The man is the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
And no matter where he is, he makes the team work because he does everything that no one else wants to do.
Right. Every team needs a player like that.
Every team needs a player like that. He's one of my favorite players to watch because if you just... It's not even his athleticism, it's his reading of the game. He can see the play before it develops, and he knows where to be, and he knows how to make the right tackle. And then he has the next step in him, which is insane to me, is he can win the ball and then immediately make a pass to keep possession.
Yeah.
A lot of destroyers win the ball and then just boot it or don't. He can turn it into something else, and he's being asked to do something different this year.
Yes, very different.
He's not playing the 6. He's not sitting deep and just defending the lines. He's asked to play a right-sided midfield where sometimes he's playing up into the other team's 6-yard, 18-yard box. But then he's also asked to come back and clean up. I mean, they're asking so much of him, and he just steps up to the plate every time.
Right.
France does not win the World Cup without N'Golo Kante. Leicester City does not win the Premier League without N'Golo Kante. Chelsea does not win the Premier League without N'Golo Kante.
You think?
Oh, captain, my captain.
Oh, my God. He's not even your captain.
In my heart, he is.
Okay. So would you say he's also your favorite player this season, most important?
I think he's the most important player. I think what he does allows the creative players like Willian, Hazard to not play as much defense and to focus on what they need to do.
Well, they don't play defense anyway.
Well, they don't need to.
Right.
When you just have him back there cleaning up.
Isn't that, what's his name, Jorginho?
Jorginho.
Isn't that his job anyway?
Jorginho's only job is to shuttle the ball. He is the pivot on which everything moves. So if you watch our passing maps, everything, it all goes through him. So he takes possession, recycles it. Takes possession, recycles it. He's Xavi, he's Iniesta, but not there yet.
Right. He's Italian.
He's born in Brazil, moved to Italy when he was 13 or 14.
Yeah.
He's Italian now.
Yeah, I didn't know he was Italian because Jorginho's not an Italian.
No.
That's definitely Brazilian.
He's dual citizenship.
Yeah,
He was born in Brazil, moved to Italy, and he plays for the Italian national team now.
Yeah.
He's my son, essentially. Future son.
Future son. Okay.
I think he does his job well. And I think without him, I don't know if we have a player who can do that. I am not a very big fan because I think he's very limited in what he can do, which is just that one thing, which he does very well.
Yeah.
But he's not a great defender. He's not going to score goals. But if this is how sorry ball works and it has to work on a pivot and he's going to play the pivot, then it works for me. With that being said, I still think my big moment of the year, my favorite moment of the year is N'Golo Kante getting his 5-year extension.
So explain this to me. How is it that every time you get a new coach, you are so much better than the previous year?
I am somebody who loves a foundation. I love consistency.
That's the opposite of Chelsea.
That is the absolute opposite of Chelsea. We can take a coach, give him whatever. I think what we do have is we have a good core of players. I think we have Hazard, we have Willian, we have a good midfield around N'Golo Kante. And then I think the defense is something that's
work in progress.
And then strikers. But if you don't need the striker to score your goals because you have Hazard, Willian, and Pedro,
fair.
You don't need as much. But I don't have an answer for you. Truthfully, I don't.
That is one of the weirdest phenomenons in sport, in my opinion. How you can go from you win the title, and then the very next year you don't qualify for Champions League. You fire your coach, you win the title, and then the next year you don't make it to Champions League. And it's just this weird cycle where coaches get like 2 seasons at Chelsea. One where they win the title, one where they get fired because they...
Yeah, I don't understand. I think, like I said, I like foundation, I like consistency, and I think keeping a coach long-term, not Arsene Wenger long.
Like not decades.
Not decades long, not older than I've been alive, but I think it's... There is a happy medium where you should keep him for a certain amount of time. I think we like Sarri. For the first time, I liked Antonio Conte. I didn't think he should be fired. I hated Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho knows how to win. I get that.
Does he, though?
He wins. I mean, wherever he goes... Man United's not... They were doing bad, but now they're winning. They're
in 8th.
But they were doing bad. They're on an upward trajectory.
Until they lost last weekend.
I mean, I said he would be fired before Christmas, so I'm hoping...
I think we both said New Year.
Yeah.
I mean, by 2019, he's going to be gone.
I like Sarri. I like the way he plays. The 4-3-3 is my favorite formation. So that's how I like
FIFA?
That's why I play in FIFA. That's why I play. That's how if I would have set up a team, I would set it up. And I like. We have the most passes in the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
Where we play a very nice fluid style. So I like him, and I'd like to keep him, but he'll win it and then get fired.
Yeah. Let's play one last question, and then I'll go.
Okay.
Replace one of your players with a Tottenham player, and he has to start.
This is tough for me because my favorite player on your team is Christian Eriksen. I think Christian Eriksen is world class. I think he scores a ton of goals, and I think he makes everybody around him better. But we do not have a striker. We don't like having strikers since Didier Drogba, who can score the ball. Harry Kane, I think, is younger. This is tough for me. It would be one of those two. Do I have to pick, or can I just say one of those two?
Pick one. Just pick one.
Everybody's going to hate me for this, so I'm going to take Christian Eriksen.
Really?
I think if you put him... I think if you have Jorginho, Conte, and then Eriksen playing as like your pseudo 10, then it doesn't matter who we have a striker. If we have Hazard, Eriksen, Willian, good luck trying to stop us.
Yeah. That sounds pretty... Something I would not want ever.
I know you're happy I didn't take Kane, though, because you're the biggest Kane fan.
I am. I'm a huge Kane fan because he's the best striker. Well, over the last 4 years, he's been the best striker in the world. I think pretty much hands down. But cool.
So let's turn it on you. Your favorite moment.
I honestly, It's been such a bad season. So, I know. Pause.
Have you lost a game?
We've lost 3.
Okay. Have you tied a game?
We haven't tied.
Okay, that's what it was. I knew it was.
We're the only team in the Premier League that hasn't tied. We've either won everything or drawn.
Okay.
This is our highest ever Premier League points total up in this. Like, we've never had this many points. Because usually we have a lot less wins and a lot more draws.
Yeah.
At this point, but we're winning a lot of really ugly games. But I know what I'm like.
But I remember after the first 3 weeks, you were very high on the team because you loved Lucas Moura. You were very, very high on the team. So what's changed?
Everyone's hurt.
So it's not that the team is bad.
No, we haven't. The team hasn't clicked because we haven't been able to field any consistent starting
defenders, 11. Especially.
Vertonghen's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's bad. He's been hurt. He's not coming back till the next year.
Wow.
So that's been a problem. Eriksen's been in and out.
Yeah.
Dele Alli's been out. Son was in and out. Lamela came back and he's been doing phenomenal. So let me pause there. Lamela has been probably my favorite player so far. The first 8 times he stepped on the field, he either scored or assisted, and he was just killing it.
That's productive.
Yeah, he's been doing very, very well. Every time he comes, he's our hardest working non-midfielder kind of player. Like we play kind of a 4-2-3-1, and he plays in the front 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's consistently coming back to defend, and he makes sometimes poor tackles, but he comes back and defends. On the other side, Son doesn't defend. He's very fast, but he just doesn't come back to defend.
Yeah.
Lucas Moura, he works hard too, but it's not the same. And that's why I love Lamela. I think he's been really, really good for us this season. And if it weren't for him, I don't know where we would be.
Yeah.
Because he stepped up where Son hasn't really found his form of last year yet. I think he's tired. He played the World Cup and then he went to play the Asian games.
Same with Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Well, same with your entire team,
basically,
right?
I think I saw a thing where we have the most players that made it the furthest.
Yeah.
Because
half of them are on England.
Yeah,
so
half of them are England. Half of them are, well, we had we have Hugo Lloris, and then we have a bunch of Belgians who all went to the, quarters?
Quarters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Son played. I think every one of our starting players, except for Ben Davies, because he's from Wales, played in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Every single one of them. So
let's get rid of the World Cup.
No, I'm not saying that. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm just saying when you have so many players that went so far and they barely had any time to rest, I mean, Dembele is over. He's done.
Yeah. I never rated him.
What?
I didn't rate him.
What?
We disagree on this. I don't rate him.
Wow. Dembele was the best retainer of the ball I've ever seen in my life. Nobody in his prime, like 2 seasons ago, you couldn't take the ball from him. Drop of the shoulder, and he was past you. It didn't matter who it was.
Yeah.
His biggest weakness was always making forward plays. Like he was really good at keeping the ball and then like spreading it to side and keeping the ball.
Yeah.
But he never made any like dangerous progressive forward plays.
Yeah.
He also never scored. I think those were the 2 biggest glaring faults in his game. But without him in the midfield, we're getting run through by everyone. Everyone's just running right through us because we don't have. Winks is just coming back from injury. I think Winks can be very good. I really rate him highly, especially after the Real Madrid game where he bossed Luka Modric, and the German dude.
The German dude.
Yeah, he also plays for Real Madrid. I can't believe I don't remember his name.
I'm blanking. We'll move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. But him. And so he bossed that midfield game where we beat them 3-1 at Wembley a couple of seasons ago. So I think once he gets back, because he had a pretty bad injury last season. So once he gets back into it, I think he's going to be good. Victor Wanyama's been hurt. He's just not coming back. Like I said, Dele Alli's hurt. Harry Kane is just now coming back into form. But Tony Cruz. That's right, Tony Cruz. So I would say my favorite moment.
Is that
No, my favorite moment is going to be when everyone comes.
that?
No. I think like if
you beat us this weekend?
Well, no. So far, because the rules were like so far favorite moment so far. I would have to say, favorite moment so far was. I don't know, because there hasn't been anything like spectacular.
Yeah. I chose a signing.
You're right. So I think my favorite moment so far is Lamela being the player we always knew he could be. And
what about Lucas Moura, though?
Lucas Moura's been fine, but he hasn't, Lamela came out, he scored more goals and more assists so far. And Lucas Moura's great. He's very direct. He's a great dribbler. I really like him. I want us to be healthy so we can compete. Because even though we have our highest point total, we're winning 1-0. If you look at our latest scores, over the last few weeks, it's 1-0 or 2-1.
So do you think you need a new player, or you just need players to come back?
I think we just need players to come back. We have plenty of players. They're just all hurt. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, Tottenham doesn't have the depth to make a full, an actual run. And normally I would say that's not true. We have the depth. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's hurt right now.
I mean, I've said this multiple times on this podcast, and I always say it, that I picked them 2 seasons in a row to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
2 seasons in a row they didn't, and so this year I didn't even predict them to make top 4 because I'm over it.
I mean, that's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. We're still one of the best teams in the league.
But there are teams. Liverpool is much better. Man City is much better.
Well,
Chelsea is much better.
Manchester City is still the same as. I mean, they're not much better. They're just better than everyone else, and they have been.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're much better than Tottenham.
Yeah, they're much better than everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying overall, those are the teams that are better, I think. And then you have Arsenal, so you're fighting for the 4th spot.
I think we're fighting for. If you look at the table right now, we're only 5 points away from City.
That's fine, but I think at the end of the year, you're fighting for the 4th spot.
I mean, if we beat you tomorrow, we jump you. Despite how badly we've played.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's my next point. We've not played well, and somehow we're still in the top 4, and with our highest point total. I think if we ever click, we're going to be really good.
But that's what I've said for so many years, because you've had the most consistent team over and over and over again.
I also have to remember, we don't have a home stadium. We've been playing all over the place. Yeah. We don't have a home stadium.
It was supposed to open already.
It was supposed to be open a long time ago. Word is right now, I think it's Manchester United in January.
The new year. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so let me reverse the question on you. If you could take one player from
Definitely
Chelsea,
Hazard.
I knew it. Why didn't I even wait?
I mean, that's
you wouldn't take Conte.
No. I would take Hazard in a heartbeat.
Did you guys make any new signings?
No, we're the first Premier team ever
to not sign a new player.
Make a signing.
That's insane.
Yes.
Prove me wrong. I mean, win the Premier League. I've said for years that they should have. You have a very good coach, a very consistent squad. This goes back to my foundation and consistency thing, and yet. Every other year we win the Premier League, even though we have a new coach and not a consistent squad.
I think we also don't have billions.
Yes, but if we were to go down our rosters, how many players would you pick in your 11 from Tottenham over Chelsea? No, answer the question.
How many would I pick of you over ours?
If you picked an 11 from the 2 teams, would there be more Tottenham players?
I think there would be more Tottenham players.
Okay, so then what does the billions have to do with it?
Because you have the ability to, if we lose players, if they leave, we're not going to be able to rebuild as quickly as you can.
But we haven't rebuilt. I mean,
no, that's because you built this team.
This team was built. I mean,
Mourinho mostly.
Yeah, mostly Mourinho. The core players. I mean, obviously.
But they cost a lot of money. They cost money that we don't have. We've gotten really lucky recruiting the players that we have, for not just the players that we have, but for the price that we've recruited them. Harry Kane's an academy kid. Dele Alli costs like 2 or 3.
Is he not from the Tottenham Academy?
No, he came from MK Dons.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was just like on loan from.
No, we bought him when he was still playing. He was like 18 when we bought him, and we let him play the rest of the season. And then he came. I think he cost £5 million. Eriksson came for fairly cheap. Dembele came from Fulham. He wasn't that expensive.
But at the end of the day, if we have billions, and you can still come up with an 11 of more of your players than our players, it negates the billions.
No, but I'm saying it's lucky. I'm saying we've
is
been
it lucky
very.
Or is it a good ownership?
Maybe it's good ownership, but here's my thing: is if this stadium gets built, if because that's.
I mean, the stadium's built; it's just not finished.
Once we get into the stadium, this is long term. This isn't like next season. Once we get into the stadium and we're making money, and we can offer these players the salaries that are comparable with other players. Like our highest paid player.
But you haven't had a trouble retaining players, have you?
Not yet.
I mean, you've lost Bale, you've lost Modric, you lost
but that was before.
Kyle Walker, that was before. That's not these group of players.
Well, Kyle Walker was...
Kane re-signed, right?
Everyone's re-signing.
So...
Right, but...
Dele Alli re-signed, didn't he?
Yeah. Eventually, these guys are going to be like, I can either make more money and or win something elsewhere.
Or both.
That's why I say and or. Now, if they were getting paid a lot, maybe they would stay a little bit longer. I don't know.
I think you guys need to win something this year. I think it needs to be an FA Cup. I think you need to win something.
Anything. I agree.
Anything this year.
The League Cup.
I think the League Cup is pointless, but you have to win something or you're going to have a fire sale, I think.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to have a fire sale. I just think it's going to be very difficult.
I think it's going to be tough to keep the players buying in year after year and not winning anything.
That's why that's why the stadium situation is so concerning. I think if the stadium were already built, it would be a completely different story.
I think
if we were
in a later episode, and this is coming to me and I'm going to cut you off right now.
Write this down so you don't forget.
I think in a later episode, we should discuss this, and I think we should do a draft between Tottenham players and Chelsea players.
Okay.
And you each can only pick, like, out of the pool. So, like, you could pick either team, and we should make our 11s and see whose 11 would be better based on those players, and then we should have everybody vote on it.
I like it. That's actually fun.
I think that'll be fun.
Yeah. We can do that. Let's definitely do that.
Okay.
For next...
I didn't want to lose that thought, and that's why I yelled it out loud
that's
and
fine.
stopped
That's
you
fine.
from what you were doing.
Right, that's fine. Long story short, we're going to lose tomorrow.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Handedly or lose?
I think we're just going to lose.
Aren't we at Wembley tomorrow, though?
Yeah.
So it's your home field?
I mean, it's England's home field. That's just what I'm saying. Like, I think if the stadium were built, it would be a completely different story. Everyone's saying, like, how awesome it's going to be and how excited they are to play in it. But it's not there. It's a concept right now.
But it's been their home field for a year now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's home field.
But I think the other problem was, number one, the idea that we were having an actual stadium in Tottenham. Number two, the FA is making us reduce the capacity
of the stadium.
Yeah. So even though it fits like 90,000, we're no longer allowed the 90,000. I think they're dropping it down to 60.
That's a huge drop.
Yeah, because our stadium is like, what, 60-some thousand? So I think they're dropping it down to what our new stadium capacity is going to be.
What was White Hart Lane?
30. I think it was like 34 or 37. I think it was 37. So this one's not quite double, but it's close to double.
Okay, so let's get your predictions.
For them, I think we're going to lose like 1-0, 2-1, something like that. It's going to be close, but we're going to lose. I think it's going to look closer than it is, and I think we're going to lose.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. I've been pretty... So when we started, we beat Fulham easily. I forgot who we played second, but we beat them easily. Against Manchester United, we looked dreadful that first half. And then the second half, we scored 3 goals on them. So it kind of papered over the holes. And then against Watford, it was just awful.
Yeah.
The weather wasn't great either, but I think that's been... And we actually looked really good against City, even though we lost 1-0. The Liverpool game, I think, was closer than everyone else thinks, but we're just not quite the same team as we were last season.
Yeah. Injuries will do that.
Yeah. And just think about it. If we didn't lose against Watford, we'd be second in the league right now. It's just that one game against a crap
I feel like you're
team.
arguing with yourself right now.
I am. I'm just very... I'm not happy with the season, even though this is our highest point total ever.
Right.
And we're not playing well.
But if you beat Watford, you would be in second.
Yeah.
But you're not happy with the season.
I'm not happy with the season because we're not playing well. It's like teetering on the edge. Like we have all these points. We're not losing games. We're not drawing crappy teams like we used to. We're winning a lot.
That was always your big thing, right? Is that you could not beat the teams. That's what separates, I think, the top from the bottom. Is the top win their games against lower level teams constantly, and then that's where you get... I mean, people say those are the easy games, but I mean...
They're not really.
They're not, because you have to be able to break down a team who's lesser than you, and it's tough.
So, despite all that, we're not playing well. So, if we can just start playing, like the PSV game when we came back and beat them, I think that was a really good moment. Harry Kane scored 2 goals. I think that was good. And who did we play last? We won last week, and we started showing signs of coming back. But
see, I think
it's almost halfway through the season, and we haven't clicked, and that's my concern.
Yeah, I think. So we haven't lost yet,
right?
So I think this is a game that's setting us up to lose. Since you guys don't tie, I think this game's gonna go late, 1-1, and then there's gonna be a goal at the end.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
I can see that.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I'd like to... I don't know who... I haven't even looked.
Well, I mean, we have to lose eventually, and think about how great of a story it would be for you to get to say you gave us our first loss of the season.
That would be nice. And we... Truly, the Chelsea-Tottenham rivalry is the rivalry in London.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. I think we're... Historically, we hate Arsenal the most, but everyone hates you the most. I mean, out of us. And I think you guys feel the same way about it.
You guys are just the tater tots.
Yep. That's right. I don't know how to respond to that. Quickly. I want to move on to the Rowdies real quick.
Okay.
Super quick.
Yep.
They're getting bought by the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes. They have been. The sale has gone through.
The sale has gone through. This is what I heard. So I have a friend who's an engineer.
Okay.
And he works with... He has a friend who is part of...
We're getting into conspiracy
I know.
guys.
This is great. It's like it's a friend of a friend of a cousin.
Everybody come in close. Listen.
So he knows a guy who is part of the financial board at the Rowdies.
Okay.
And what he told me is that this guy told him that when they put in their MLS bid last season, they were 100% sure they weren't going to get it. They did it just for show. They did it just to say, hey, look what we're doing.
Yeah.
St. Pete's a great town, all this stuff. But they were pretty sure that they weren't going to get it. And the reason is Edwards is a multimillionaire. All the other owners are billionaires.
Yeah.
So he's saying MLS doesn't want millionaire owners.
No,
they want
not anymore.
Billionaire owners, which I think is terrible for the league.
Yeah.
I don't think...
But that's how it is now. That's what they want. Yeah. They want ownership groups rather than owners at this point.
So what he said is that once this goes through and we have billionaire owner group, they're going to put in another bid. This
is the first I've heard of this.
I know. That's why it's an inside information. Yeah. It's inside.
So they said they were asked these questions during their conferences when they did this, and they said not the exact opposite. But they said our goal is to stay in USL right now and to not put out any bid. Is essentially what they said in all of it. They said we're gonna we think we have a good product where we are. We like the league where they said all the right things about staying.
Right.
So unless they're behind. But to me, it never made sense for them to buy the team. I don't understand why they would buy the team.
Unless they're pushing...
Unless they see it as an investment. And, lower league soccer does not make money.
No.
So, I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense to me because when the sale of the team came out, I mean, we knew he was selling because he had his heart problems
Right.
and everything.
Did you visit him?
I did not. I'm still trying to get into his group.
Right.
I want him to hire me.
Right.
Hopefully my employer isn't listening right now. I mean, I think that's the only thing that makes sense. I still think we can expand the stadium and should expand the stadium with or without MLS.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you expanded the stadium and made it feel more like a soccer stadium, which it is a great stadium right now, but I think if you put a full stand on the other side, I think you would draw. I think St. Pete is hungry to follow a team.
Yeah.
And I think it fits with the new hipster bars and I think we could really blow up like a Seattle or like a Portland or like these little hipster cities. Like Kansas City has great soccer support.
Yeah.
And who would think that Kansas City is a soccer city?
Right.
I think if they really did put in the money and the investment and filled the stadium on the other side, I think you could really get a big push.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think the only reason the Tampa Bay Rays would buy the Rowdies is to push for the MLS.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it makes no sense.
No.
At all. Why
No.
would So, but my thing is, do they expand the stadium or do they try to repurpose
The Trop
Tropicana?
site.
Yeah.
So
Because Tropicana Field is an old stadium. It's old, but it's in a great location. It's got great parking. There's never traffic when there's Rays games, maybe because nobody goes. But still, like the way downtown St. Pete is is set up. Even if like I didn't know there was a game, they do such a good job shepherding the people that are going into the stadium because the freaking parking lot is enormous.
yeah.
And it's in a great spot. It's right in the middle. It's really close to my house. And probably to your house, too. It's probably right down.
It's just as close as
Yeah.
the Rowdy Stadium is now.
It's a little closer.
It's a 5-minute drive.
You're right. But
They're
anyway.
both in downtown.
Yeah, but if they do expand the stadium, it's going to need more parking. And I don't think that location supports that. I'm not saying that...
Okay, so here's I have competing views and I'm very torn on this. A brand new soccer specific stadium at the Trop location, the only way for it to work is you tear down the Trop
course.
and you build a brand new stadium specifically built just for soccer.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would be the best case scenario.
But and that area of town is actually very up and coming right now. All brand new bars, brand new everything, restaurants all popping up right there in that district. I love the stadium where it is now.
I like it too.
I like being on the water. I like that we can go eat at the Avenue, get a couple beers before, and walk 2 minutes to the game.
I agree.
So I think the site we're on now could be used and turned into a good stadium. But I like that I think I like that location better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like that location better, but the idea of a stadium specifically built just for the Rowdies, holding like 18,000, I think would be a good number. 20,000 maybe.
But are those MLS sizes? I mean, you're talking...
I mean, I think 20,000 is a good number. I'd rather have a stadium packed full than a stadium
True.
that's half empty.
But what does the stadium fill now? What's the max? Like
7.5 or something like that.
So even if they double it, it wouldn't be that much.
No, and I think
14's
I
not.
think you fill what you have. So like the Rowdies don't average a sellout right now, but I mean I think if you built a brand new stadium, people would come.
Yeah.
I mean I think it's just that simple.
You think so they close out that part that you can see the harbor all the way around, and then they take those
I think they
small
still
stands.
leave the gap. I think the gap still remains to see the harbor.
So you just fill in the kind of like
I
portable.
think you do the other U. So I think you have a grandstand on the other side, and then you have like a supporter section behind the goal, and then you still have the gap to see the harbor. You still have the gap to see the city on either side.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you. I think that's the best location in terms of like I love that place, but I'm thinking like long term, the Tropicana Field site just feels like a big city team kind of thing.
If that part of the neighborhood keeps growing, then yes. Mostly right now, the stuff to do is where the Outlying site is right now.
Yeah.
That is still kind of it's an up and coming area. If it keeps up and coming, then yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the big news that I wanted to share with you.
I didn't hear that until now. You kept that for a surprise for me.
I did. Because I just found out last weekend.
Okay.
That's why.
This is the one thing we agree on. We're the rivals for everything else. With the Rowdies is where we have our meeting point.
I would love for them to go pro.
Oh my! To me, I have a soccer podcast I'm on that I record. I watch it every weekend. I have been to 3 professional soccer games in my life.
Yeah.
3. I've been to Fulham in the Premier League just recently.
Yeah.
And I've been to Orlando City twice.
Okay. So I was at DC United twice. I went to DC United twice. I went to Chicago Fire once.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Rowdies, I mean, we've been to 100 Rowdies games. So we've been to plenty of Rowdies games, but it is Division 2-ish.
Yeah.
Depending on the year you go.
Right.
But it's never been Division 1.
Right.
Not in our lifetimes.
No.
Not till the 1950s.
Yeah.
Is that your... Well, you were a teenager in the 1950s.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good one. I'm not that old. Just like you're not that short.
We're the same height.
I know. I'm not that much older than you. I'm changing my age.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's this guy in Sweden.
Okay.
Did I tell you about him?
No.
So he's saying like gender should be fluid. I mean, not gender.
Age?
Age should be fluid, just like everything else. So he's actually 60 something, but he feels like he's 40. So he's trying to legally change his age. I'm like,
I'm not sure the logic is necessarily there.
But hey, man.
You do you,
You
boo-boo.
do you, exactly.
You do you, boo-boo.
Exactly. So if he wins, I'm also changing my age.
Okay. I don't know if Sweden law naturally sets precedent in the United States.
It's international practice.
Okay.
Like common international law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Common international law.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing.
It is.
Sometimes.
Just learn about it.
So I think we should wrap it up. I think that was a good episode.
Yeah, I think so.
We
hit all the main points. We hit
everything.
National teams, Premier, Rowdies.
And we're gonna keep this going.
Yeah.
Do once a week? Twice a week?
Twice a week.
Once a week? We'll start it once a week and see if we can work our way
and
out.
then we'll work towards daily. We'll do a daily one.
Daily.
Well, I think somebody wants to go outside.
I think that's our cue to
That's our cue. All right. Well, as usual, I've been Caleb.
And I'm Anthony.
And we are The Rivals.